Hello, everyone. This is Gruesome Herzog. My very special guest is actor-producer Roberto Lombardi. Roberto, how the hell are you?
Hey, I am good. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problemo. As you know, I interviewed Chris, and of course, we interviewed Chris, and I also talked to that Andrew Roth, and you guys all have stuff in common.
Chris and who? Chris? No,
that guy that has that really has that stare. I think he's in. I think he's somewhere in New York. I ain't sure. He might be in. I don't know. He might be living in a cardboard box somewhere, for all I know. Anyways, Andrew, we love you, brother. Don't worry about it, okay? But anyways, I came across all you guys, talking to Chris and some movies and some short films, and I knew Andrew before that because we were playmates back in the 80s, believe it or not. But anyways, you have one that I reviewed that I thought was fantastic, and that's just me. I don't know anybody else. I haven't had it except for one person that hassled me about it, but Methodic. I thought it was a very, very interesting slasher killer movie that I thought was, from what he had to use to make it, it was fantastic and well made. Now, he told me some...
for a 10-day shoot, it was really incredibly well made. I had a really great time making that. You couldn't have asked for a better cast. You couldn't have asked for a better story or director. And that location that a good chunk of it was shot in, the asylum, the abandoned asylum up there, just atmosphere-wise, you couldn't ask for anything better. And I'm only in that movie for a little bit. I have a little principal role in it, but it's actually going to be expanded, and it was expanded in Methodic 1.5. Kind of showed more where my storyline was going, and there is finances pending. A Methodic 2 and a Methodic 3 planned, which I'll be in both of those.
Oh, yeah. I know. Oh, yeah. And possibility Moa will be in there, too. Who knows?
Oh, see that? I learned something new today.
Maybe, because you guys ain't that far away from me. Yeah, I understand that you had a small role, but the fact of the matter is, you were there, and Andrew Roth had a small role too. But I can still pick you guys out, and it takes chemistry to make a movie, and I think the chemistry, from what I've seen on my side of it, the chemistry was pretty good. You know what I mean?
It was really good. I'm still friends with all those actors. We talk from time to time, and mostly everybody who was in Methodic. And obviously, I've worked with Chris a lot since Methodic, which was we actually did that in 2007, even though the DVD didn't come out in 2009. But yeah, between 2007 and now, Chris and I have done. Man, I'd have to think about how many projects. A lot of projects.
Yeah, but you know what? There are a lot of projects that you did. See, Chris, I think, is the only person that I've known besides another director, Patrick Ray, is he has a knack with short films. He can make them, and when he makes them, they're fantastic. Some people have it and some people don't, but he has the skills to pull these short films off, and trust me, he has over 150 of them that you can watch. So, But the next film that I'm going to mention to you, I wasn't going to, but I'm just dying to hear your experiences. The Happening in 2008. You played a father in Elliot's group. Now, what was your experiences, as far as somewhat of a mainstream film?
Honestly, and this was actually, making that film was one of my favorite experiences. It gave me my first real taste of being able to work on a set like that, which, I think the budget for that movie was somewhere between $40 and $60 million. So I worked on it for 2 weeks, and I had originally just gone in as an extra and got bumped up to kind of a featured extra, and that happened during the course of filming. I think I was only supposed to be there for about 2-3 days. And I got selected to have my part upgraded and be in scenes with the leads of the film, which were Mark Wahlberg and Zoe Deschanel.
Right.
And just the experience of it now, and I know people have their opinions about the movie, whether it was good, bad, and different, but just making the movie, it was one of the most fun times I've ever had making the movie. Just everybody on that set, it was a totally professional set. I'm here to tell you that no matter what you've heard about M. Night Shyamalan and he's got an ego and whatever, that was not my experience with him at all. He couldn't have been nicer. He knew people's names. He was pleasant, smiling, no yelling, no screaming. Everybody really enjoyed, crew too, not just cast, crew too, enjoyed working on that set. And, I mean, it was hot. It was all outside. It was in September of 2008. A lot of hot weather, bright, sunny days, 90-something degrees every day, and you're running around in a field and everything. It was fun.
Right.
But probably one of my favorite parts of that was the food. Amazing food that they brought out. They brought this catering company from California, and they just did like theme days for food. They refrigerated a tent and made homemade sushi one day. That's what I'm talking about with like the food.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a great experience.
Well, I like that film, and you're right. A lot of podcasters I've heard over the months that some of them defend him, some of them like him, and other people who don't just bash him. But he's not really a horror director. I mean,
No.
And some of the films that he makes that I really loved until the ending, it really pisses me off. And it's not him. That's just his style of writing. But I like The Happening. I mean, I liked it. I mean, what's his biggest one? The one with Bruce Willis.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah.
But now the other one I didn't care for. The one where something with the train. The hell was it? They had a train accident.
The train?
Yeah, they had.
Unbreakable.
Oh,
yeah.
I hated that one. I couldn't get through it.
There's supposed to be a sequel coming to that. I don't know what they're going to call it, but I think there's a sequel to that coming. I don't know. I think he gets marketed wrong. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
that
I agree.
Films get marketed. They get marketed as horror, and they're not horror. Those films are basically all relationship films. They're about either a couple or a family that has some kind of issue within their family, and then this otherworldly or horrific thing happens that's outside of their family, and then they all have to cope with it, and it usually brings the family or the couple together at the end of it. And that's what his movies are basically about, relationships, not horror.
Right. And I dig him. I don't mind him. But now I'm going to switch tracks here, and I'm going to talk about a comedy here, because there is comedy fans along with horror fans. So, Bazookas the movie in 2009 was directed by Michael G. Leonard. What do you have? What can you tell us about this?
That movie is like a cross between Porky's and Old School, but it's set in a gym. It's about two brothers whose father passes away, and he leaves the gym to the two brothers, and one brother wants to level the gym and sell the property and make it into an office building, and the other one wants to keep the gym and, kind of honor his father because his father loved it. But that doesn't particularly sound funny off the offset, but what ensues in the movie is the way they decide to keep the gym is like they put all these little sexy kind of Porky's-like classes in it, like a strip aerobics class and a strip, aquatic instructor class, and it just goes on, and there's relationships between the people that work there, and it was really funny. The whole thing was shot probably off and on between October and December of 2006. And then it was in post-production for a long time and came out in 2009. But the whole thing was filmed between 10 at night and 6 in the morning every night.
Well, on IMDb, a review came in that said, it's so good it should be in the theaters.
That was flattering. That was nice of whoever said that. That was nice.
Yeah, but I will check it out.
I could see it being in the theaters because it just has that kind of a thing. It's college humor. If you like college humor, you'll like that.
Right. I was assuming that. So that's one of the ones I will check out, but I'd like to throw in some new stuff that I haven't seen before to talk about. The next one is another film that I have not seen that I do want to see, and it's called Abduction in 2009, directed by John Oricchio.
Oricchio, correct.
Oricchio.
Yep, Oricchio. Yep. John's a really good guy. We work together. I work with John almost as much as I work with Chris. In fact, I actually produce films with John now after working on Abduction with him. And we worked on that film for a little over a year. That film is about a town of people. It's this little out-of-the-way New Jersey town that's called Process. It's very picturesque, beautiful rolling hills and quaint little shops and stuff like that. But that's the outside. The underbelly of that town is that everybody who lives and works there are a bunch of inbred freaks. And they kidnap unsuspecting tourists, and they either sell their body parts, or they sell the women into sex slavery, or they impregnate the women and sell the babies on the black market. And the townspeople do this with absolutely no regard for humanity and really no emotion. The only emotion they show is when their livelihood, which is kidnapping these people, is threatened. Then there's a little bit of emotion. But the act of the killing and stuff that goes on, it's completely devoid. It's very Michael Myers, but we're talking.
Wow, I want to see this. Now, also, another reviewer said this: Abduction is impressive.
That is another nice thing to say. I enjoyed making Abduction, and for the most part, I think we achieved what we wanted to go after with Abduction. We had some casting issues with Abduction, had to replace people part of the way through, which meant reshoots. And then towards the end of it, we had trouble having a few actors show up.
Right.
And we had to rewrite parts of it, and I think that kind of harmed the ending of the film a little bit. Now, I'll be honest with you. But for the most part, I was happy with it. With the intent that we had for the film, we achieved what we intended to do with the film, so I was happy with that.
Yeah, and Damien...
And it won an award.
Yep, and Damien Coletti, he's a he's a Pennsylvania boy.
Yes, he is.
He played Otto, yeah, because he was in one of the short films for Chris, correct?
Yeah, I think he was in Elektra, The Hand and the Devil.
Yes.
And Maniac Cop with me.
Yes.
We were both in it.
Yes. If you want to talk about Maniac Cop, you can go right ahead. I was browsed over it. But go ahead, talk about Maniac Cop.
Yeah, that was done but Chris wanted to do that as kind of a reboot to try and get the rights for the movie to do his version of it.
Right.
And we shot that, I think it was 2 hours maybe. We all piled into a car, drove into Times Square, shot the opening scene, got stopped by the cops because we had this gigantic Maniac Cop with scars all over his face and cop gear, and the cops were like, what the hell are you doing? And then we flew over to another side of town and did the alley scenes for it. And I think 2.5 hours it was done, and Chris, it was online the next day.
Wow!
But it came out for shooting it in 2 hours. I was really happy with it.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that. That was quite. When you see the cop, it looks almost like the original from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the next one you mentioned earlier, Methodic 1.5. Now, I talked to Chris about this, which I've yet to see it. I'm going to watch it. I'm so far behind. But go ahead, and you mentioned about there's more of a backstory of your character in this.
Right. It kind of gives you a little bit of backstory about my character, and it gives you a little bit of backstory about what the Doll Man actually is. The Doll Man, it kind of alludes that the Doll Man is more like a virus that you can catch. Because a little kid in school starts drawing pictures of the Doll Man, and the little girl who brings the pictures home doesn't get infected by it, but her father does. Okay. And you see this transformation of the father actually becoming the Doll Man. And he kind of goes after his family. And then after all is said and done with that, the police are involved, and I am actually Cordell, who is a doctor. and my character from the first movie pops in and he gives the cop the forensics report on what happened and hands him the mask and everything. And then at the end of it, I kind of say, I get a text and I have to wind up leaving because there's something wrong with my son, which is actually what happens at the end of Methodic.
Right.
My son gets infected with the Dollman virus. And it's kind of like a bridge between the last act of Methodic, the first movie, then Methodic, the events of Methodic 1.5 kind of take place, and then the end of Methodic happens where you see the kid in the room and he looks up
right,
and everything. So it's kind of like meant to explain a little more about the Dollman, a little bit more about my character and my character's family, because those events actually take place and go on in what Chris is going to do in the second movie.
Nice. Well, the next one is a superhero movie, as he has it labeled on his website. It's Mr. J.
Yeah.
Directed by Kim Santiago and Chris R. Notarilli.
Yes. And I'm going to say right now, I think Chris was absolutely brilliant as the Joker. I was shocked when we first started doing it, because I watched it's actually a webisode that 4 webisodes that he edited together, and watching them all together is actually really cool because he has them edited together. But the first part of it was Call Me Mr. J, which was just basically him and Dr. Quinzel, and you kind of see how he takes her over. And the second part is him forcing her to become Harley Quinn by killing my character, which was Dr. David Sermon. And then it goes on with like some of the other people from that universe are involved. Like you see the Scarecrow, and you see the Penguin and the Riddler, and then they all are more in the fourth part. But yeah, I just thought Chris was brilliant in it. When I first saw it, I was like, wow.
I know. And Mandy Evans is Catwoman. I can see that.
Yeah, because Mandy has this ability to be, she just kind of falls right into whatever character she's playing, and some of the stuff I've seen her do, she's very vulnerable, and then some of the stuff I've seen her do, she's absolutely, a sociopath. And then with playing Catwoman, she's like very playful and slinky, but dangerous at the same time. And I thought she did a really great job in that.
Well, we're going to talk about a film that she was in that I saw a couple of days ago that I can't seem to not stop watching. That she played one of the badass. Well, I'll shut up. I'll wait till that comes up. But the next one is a comic book character, Punisher, 79-82. Chris went in detail about the Punisher and his thoughts about it, about the originals and so forth down. But now, what was your experience in Punisher, the 79 through 82?
Okay, I watched the first 3 because I wasn't in them, but I watched them. I really enjoyed Thomas Daniels' performance as oh God, what the hell is his name? The one with the scars all over his face. I'm blanking out here. I should turn on my computer and do it.
Well, Dolph Lundgren was in the one in the 80s, correct? Yes. Yeah,
but I didn't see that. But well, Sean Parr, first of all, you couldn't have asked for a better person to play the Punisher.
No.
I mean, that guy, he's another one. He just falls right into whatever character he's portraying. And all 4 of those Punishers, he just does an amazing job. And I liked how they progressed from year to year, and I liked that they took place in different years. I was actually in the 4th part, and I have a small part in that as well. I played Alexander Bott, which is a really minor character in that universe. But I liked that. I thought that was really cool that, because I've looked at the comic, and I've looked at, on Wikipedia, I actually looked it up too. I actually kind of look like the Alexander Bott comic. Okay. So I went out and I got the outfit together. He wears a trench coat, and I got the hat that he wears and everything, and he always had brass knuckles. So I showed up for the photo shoot, and Chris actually said that was his favorite picture out of all the villains for the shoot.
Oh, wow.
So I was happy with that.
That's a compliment. It really is. Now, the next one that I have yet to see, like I said, he has so many of them, Escape from New Jersey. Now... that's one of my favorite films I've done with Chris.
that was also a four-part web series that is now edited. All 4 parts are edited together, so it's an actual film now. That film takes place between the events of the end of Escape from New York and the beginning of Escape from L.A. And that film, it slips neatly in. It bridges the gap between them. It mentions characters from the first movie and the second movie, has characters from both in it, plus a bunch of new characters. And you find out why Snake went to prison in Escape from New York. My character actually forced him to rob the bank that got him sent to New York. And I play Armando Barone in that. I really enjoyed that film. I thought that the writing was stellar. I thought the acting was really well done. Chris directed it really well. Chris acted in it. He played Jack Burton, great cameo from another one of Kurt Russell's films, Big Trouble in Little China. So you've got 2 Kurt Russell characters in one movie, which I really like. And the star of the movie, Hector De La Rosa, had never acted in anything before. And
this one is with you're with a punk friend of mine.
I wonder who we're going to talk about now.
You played the target, and Andrew Roth played the hitman. Now,
Andrew Roth. Oh no, we're going to talk about him. No, I'm only kidding.
But Andrew, I interviewed him last week, and we're going to redo it. Hopefully one day this week, if I can get time in there. But he played the hitman. You played the target. I reviewed his short film the other day. Finally had a chance to watch it. And in my review, you heard what I said in my review. I said, Andrew Roth has this, he gets in the zone, and he has this really, that stern stare, and he gets into his character. And what I thought was neat about this short film is is the chemistry between these two back and forth. He'd say something, you say something back.
Right.
It was just you could tell that there was chemistry between these two. People talk about oh, it's short films. I mean, they ain't that hard to do. Well, they're short films, but you have to compact everything in a short film, and you have to really, get it right. And used to got it right. I mean, it was just perfect, And go ahead and give the listeners an idea about Kill or Be Killed.
That's actually one of my favorite things I've ever done. And you're right, there was a definite chemistry between Andrew and I when we did that film. On top of the fact that we became friends working on that film, you just have, when you meet somebody and, you're working with them on a project and, it just really, it's just flowing, everything's working out really well. That's how Kill or Be Killed was. We had just, we were both really focused on it. We really wanted to make it good because that type of film, it's, it's about a hitman and it's about a target and it's about gun violence and, loan sharking and stuff like that. But that is what they call a talking head film. This is 2 guys in a restaurant, and you have to act the part. You have to be an actor to do that.
Right.
You can't show up to that and don't not bring your A game to that because there was a lot of shift in the dynamic to that. Andrew's character is there to kill me. He thinks he's meeting me at the restaurant. We're going to leave. He's going to shoot me, and that's going to be the end of it. But I throw him a curveball by inviting him to lunch. And he accepts, and during the course of the lunch, the dynamic changes.
Right.
He was in control in the beginning of it, and I'm in control at the end of it, and then he kind of takes control at the very end of it of his own destiny.
Right.
He takes control by allowing me to get away. I'm giving spoilers here, but then I won't give the ending spoiler away, but then he takes control of his own life. But there are a lot of interesting things though about, just by the way, Andy was very in control and very stern at the beginning of it and almost sarcastic, and I was kind of a little bit timid. Then I slowly got a little sarcastic and he started to get a little timid. And then at the end of it, we both really knew what was going on between the 2 characters, and it was understood between us, and it was a bit emotional more for him than it was for me. There's a little emotional scene for me. But there were other things that were done with Kill or Be Killed that I thought, direction-wise, were brilliant.
Yeah.
If you look at that, I'm sitting under this very stark light at the beginning of it. Like it's almost like a spotlight, and Andrew is kind of not in the spotlight. And Chris did a really interesting thing with the lighting, is that slowly during the course of filming that, the light shifts over to Andy and his character, and it takes the spotlight away from me and onto him, because he's got to make decisions on what happens at the end of the film. And then by the end of it, you know, you saw it, you know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much away.
Right. Now, you're right, but there's one part I'm going to sneak it by you but not say it. There's something that you say what made him change his mind, because you can see it in Andrew's face when you said it.
Yeah.
So
I know what part you're talking about.
So I'll leave it go at that. I like that one. Now, a lot of people don't know this. You played, if I'm mistaken, which I'm not mistaken, but you played Freddy Krueger. Okay?
Yes.
It's a short film, which I'm going to watch. I'm going to get time and watch all of them at the same time. But you played in a short film called Krueger, A Tale from Elm Street in 2011.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Go ahead. Now, I need to know this, and so listeners, what was it like to play a character like Freddy Krueger, knowing that you can easily get backlash from it? Because you know how it is with the new Freddy Krueger. Everybody's bitching that it ain't Robert Englund, you know, and go ahead. Tell us, the listeners and us and myself, what was it like to play Freddy Krueger?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
This is honestly, when Chris approached me about doing it and I read the script, I thought to myself, this is a great script because it's a prequel. It's before Freddy's dead. It's before he's burned into the Dream Demon. It's Freddy in life, and it's the events that lead up to him getting burned. And so you don't see him in makeup at all. I'm not in any makeup at all, other than the fact that I have blonde hair in it. But honestly, I read the script and I thought, wow, this is really great. And then as I'm reading it and I'm preparing for it, it scared the shit out of me. Because I'm thinking to myself exactly what you said. You know, the 2010 movie came out and immediately people were like bashing it left and right. Oh, Jackie Earl Haley, oh, he's awful. And I don't personally think he's awful.
He's not.
He's not. He's not awful. My issue with that was the script, but that's a different story.
Right.
And, so that was kind of intimidating. It kind of scared me a little, and it was intimidating. And then, once it was done, I was happy. After we filmed it, I thought we did a good job with it. I'm happy with my performance. I'm happy with everybody else's performance. I'm happy with the film. Now I'm going to sit back, and I think that at least 50% of the people that watch this are going to bash the hell out of me. And I was pleasantly surprised that didn't happen. A few people did, and that's just life. That's just, not everybody's going to love everything you do.
Right.
A good, and no lie, a good 90-something% of the people who watched Krueger loved it. And, I have people writing me all the time telling me how much they liked it and that they think I should be in playing Krueger instead of Jackie. And I'm like, and that's very flattering and very nice and totally unexpected.
Right. Well, since you're
but the film is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, but the Krueger film itself, it's, again, Freddy's arrested and he's being interrogated by Nancy's father. And Nancy's father, Lieutenant Thompson, really tries to control the situation and loses. Just loses. I totally get the better of him. By the end of the film, you get all facets of Freddy in this short. You get the early Freddy from the first couple of films that was very, evil and low-mannered voice and not a lot of the sarcasm. And then by the end of the movie, you get the latter movie, Freddy's, where he's very boisterous and sarcastic and kind of, mocking and the laughs and everything. And my main thing in playing Freddy for the movie was I didn't want to try and carbon copy Robert Englund at all.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to do some of the mannerisms. Yeah, I wanted some of the vocal inflections to be in there, but I wanted it to be in my voice and I wanted to play it the way I wanted to do it because I
Right.
felt it would be honest that way.
Right.
And I didn't want anybody to say, "Oh, look at him, he's trying to imitate Robert Englund," because you can't. Robert originated the role, and he's amazing at it, and nobody's ever going to top him.
Nope.
That's just the way it is.
Exactly. Now, I was going to wait to the end of this one, but you are filming one this Sunday.
Yes.
That's Nightmare.
Saturday.
The Nightmare Ends
Yes.
on Halloween 2. Is that correct? That's
Yes.
the one?
That's correct.
Now, go ahead and mention some that you can about it, because I'm anxious to see this myself.
Okay, it is a sequel to Chris's 2004 film, The Nightmare Ends on Halloween, which is actually a totally different group of actors. But the story is going to actually pick up where the last one left off and show you what happens afterwards. I'm sure Chris's fans are very familiar with the movie because it did really well on YouTube and everything. But it's basically about Freddy encountering Pinhead, Michael Myers, Leatherface, and Jason Voorhees. And it ends right where they're about to all fight. And it's going to, this isn't really giving anything away. It's going to pick up with the fight and then go from there. And there's a really cool ending to it that people are not going to expect. That's all I'll say.
That's all I'll ask. I'll be looking forward to seeing it. But yeah, I was talking to Chris on Sunday, and he mentioned to me. So we'll see where that goes. I might try and make a trip up. We'll see how my day goes on Saturday, but I'll look it up. But the next one, it's called The Cemetery in 2011. I interviewed Adam Huss a while ago, and he talked about this film. And I come to find out that you're in it also. It's directed by Adam Albrandt. Yeah, Adam Albrandt.
Yep.
And go ahead, and it says status update August 20th, 2011. Now, you did mention that they're doing some pickups or whatever. But can you give the listeners an idea of what this is about? Try and say what you can say and not say to.
Sure. The Cemetery is about a group of people who go into the woods. They're camping in the woods. They go out there specifically to, let's say, get in touch with the spiritual aspect of what they're doing and, what's out there. And it turns out that there's a burial ground out there. And I'm actually in all the flashback scenes. I play this priest, this head priest, who tortured people into religious submission. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
That doesn't really give anything away. And one of the people that I tortured actually comes back and goes after these people in the woods in present day. And my character is all flashbacks, like I said. What I will say about this is that is another movie that I had probably one of the most fun times recording because it was so over the top, and it is definitely the bloodiest movie I have ever been involved with. It was just I don't want to give it away, but if you've seen any of Adam Albrandt's movies, he gets special effects people that love what they do.
Oh, wow.
And gets them involved in their films. And if you like a scary blood fest, you're going to love this movie.
Well, Meg was played by Ruby LaRocca. Now,
Yeah.
I had the honor of meeting her in Labor Day weekend. And, of course, I interviewed Adam Huss. And I also know a lady by the name of Liz Walsh, who played a torture victim.
Yeah, Liz is awesome. Liz and I have a really cool scene together. She's in the flashbacks, too. And, to look at Liz, you wouldn't think that she would be capable of doing the type of acting that she did in this movie. But, you just basically say, Liz, lay down, do this, scream your head off, act like an absolute insane person, and she's okay. And she just goes ahead and does it. And it's just that much more scary. I don't know. I thought the scene was very Sam Raimi. That's a good comparison.
Okay. Well, I'm familiar with Liz Walsh from a short film that I watched a while back called Gitchy, a tickling clown who kills people. They tickle them to death. So that's how I got to know who Liz Walsh was. So that said, now the next film, I reviewed it, I fucking love it. There, I said the F word. Oops.
Oops.
Standoff. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I have a slogan for this film, a quote for this film. Badass, bank robbing, babes. Now,
and that would be the perfect slogan for that movie.
And I want to tell you something.
Mandy loves that, by the way.
I try to be creative. Try to think of something creative, and that just came to my head as I was doing the review, and it's sticking. But I'm telling you something, Roberto. Watching it, Chris sent me a private link to watch this. Now, we talked about it in an interview, so I was pleasantly surprised when I got an email on Facebook saying, hey, here's the link. Review it for me. Let me know what you think. Now, it's not a horror. It's an action film. But I'm telling you something. I am not much for films that have just women cast members in action. I just don't know why. I just never really got into it. But I'm telling you right now, when I watched this, amazing film. I mean, it starts off and it ends. It's nonstop. And the scene at the end of the film when you come into the scene in the final story, freaking brilliant. I love all the girls. I love your character in that film. I love I'm telling you something. Mandy is a new love for me, as far as her acting.
She's amazing.
As far as her acting ability, look, they all were great. Sims, Youngblood, who played by Kim Santiago. Sims was played by Carrie Miller. Ella Jane.
Ella Jane New. Ella Jane New.
I mean, these four girls, I never really knew what a Mexican standoff is because I'm not into that stuff. I'm into horror, and I'm telling you what, I have to be careful what I say because it's still not available. But I'm telling you something. The very first kill in that film, totally blew me away. I was not expecting that. And Sims, she played that part perfect. I mean, the special effects in that film was amazing. I told Chris that, when you do gunshot, stuff, and sometimes the CGI looks really bad, but that was on point. And Mandy, for once, I'll say this. This is not giving it away. She's freaking bitching and going on and having a piece of pizza in her mouth.
Oh, Carrie. Oh, wait, which part? At the end of the movie with Mandy?
Yes.
Yeah. I crying and eating pizza. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, it had so much human common denominators in this film. It just made it even better. So I'm rambling. So now I'll let you talk now.
I'll start off by saying that is also one of my very favorite films I've ever done. I read that script and thought to myself, where have you been hiding this, Chris, and why haven't we done this before? But, everything happens for a reason. I don't think that if it was made earlier that maybe those actors wouldn't have been involved in it because Chris didn't know a couple of them. Right. But, it started out, we had a table read of it, and I got a sense of how it was going to go when we did the table read. And I'm going to echo your sentiments here. Mandy's amazing. She fits. I said before, she can fit herself into any character and be vulnerable, slinky, sexy, whatever she has to be, she does it. And, she's amazing. Ella, I have to give her special props because Ella was cast after we started shooting. We had a casting change. And she got cast in the film, and 24 hours later, she was on set doing that part that you just talked about. 24 hours. We had the script for, a couple of months. She had it for 24 hours and came in and did that performance that you were talking about. And I thought to myself, big props there because that's not easy to do. And especially to fit into a cast of people that had been working on it for a while. She fit in, just like amazingly.
Yeah.
Carrie Miller, I think, is, she can play anything. She can be badass and beautiful, or she can be sexy, and she's just an amazing, amazing actor. And Kim is just, how can you say anything bad about Kim? Kim is so focused on her acting. She would go and when she had an extremely emotional scene to do, she would go away for like 2 minutes, come back, and just nail it. One take, and then if Chris wanted a different angle, do it again, same thing, nailed it again, one take. Yeah, and from that's why she's in another film with me, because I was so impressed with her performance in that I wanted her in a different film. But nothing bad to say about any of them. The woman who plays my partner in it, Casey Williams, again, she was thrown in at the last minute because we wanted to put some different parts in the film. She came right in, fell right into the cop role, did an amazing job. All the cast did. Everybody who was involved in the movie came out and brought their A game. I was very happy with it. But I think it's going to get compared to make it like a female Reservoir Dogs. And that's a compliment to me. If anybody says that, that's a compliment.
Right. Now, I do want to give proper respect, okay? Mandy Evans played Fox, okay?
Yeah.
Kim Santiago played Youngblood.
Right.
Carrie Miller played Tess. Ella Jane New played Sims. You played Officer Cole. And Casey Williams played Officer Miller. And we can't forget Tony Datica as Dan Grant, because Dan Grant was actually his name in Methodic.
Methodic, yep.
So, and the cast is great. Frank Fata, Vince Puma, Hector De La Rosa, and on and on and on. And I don't want to give any disrespect and not mention everyone's names, but badass bank robbing babes. That's what I say. And I'm going to stick with it because I'm very impressed by all four of the bank robbers, and I was impressed with Casey Williams and of course yourself. So I don't want to go on about this forever. I cannot stop talking about it. I tell everybody that I know, that I work with, and it's just something that certain movies that I watched recently, if I really dig it, it stays in my head, and I can't stop talking about it. And I've watched this thing 4 times already, so that just goes to show you how much I like it. And every time I watch it, it gets better and better and better. And the Fox, I can't say it enough. She was so impressive. Youngblood was that snappy newcomer that didn't take no sass, and Sims was the I guess you can say she was more like the not goody two shoes, but more the quiet type, happy-go-lucky type, and Tess.
I thought she was the mediator.
Right.
I thought that Sims was like the mediator. Yeah.
And Tess, that I love Tess in there too. I mean, Carrie Miller. I mean, again, girls, I dig everything you guys did, so hopefully you all get back to me so we can have a podcast. I like to have all 4 ladies. It might be hard. I might only get 3 of them, or I can hold it off until I do, but that's going to be a fun podcast coming up, having those bank-robbing babes on my podcast at one time. What do you think?
I think that would be amazing. I think the audience would love that. If your audience likes action movies too, I mean, this is an action movie.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, I'll stop talking about that. Maybe I shouldn't, but I really enjoyed that one. Now, the next one, these next 3 are in post-production, correct?
Yes.
This one's called Dead Collections in 2011. Now, you mentioned a little earlier that you wanted her to do some work with you. And that would be Kim Santiago. She plays Sarah Kimmick, and you played Thomas Kellen. Oh, Everett X. Young, a funeral director. Everett X. Young seems to play a lot of the funeral director or a preacher in a lot of films lately, and he has a knack of doing it.
Because he can nail the demeanor really well. That's why. He can. You ask Ed to do something in that type of character, and he instantly knows what to do with it. And he doesn't disappoint in this either. The stuff we shot with him so far, he's going to creep you out. This is going to be a movie. This basically Dead Collections is about Sarah Kimmick, which is Kim's character. Her husband commits suicide. She loses her house. She goes bankrupt. She has to move into a creepy old house with her 90-year-old uncle, and weird things start happening. lights go off. She starts seeing things. She starts thinking the house is haunted. And at the same time, she's got a bill collector after her, which is me. I'm the bill collector. And I kind of start stalking her to get the money. So she's got this, on one hand, she's got this crazy ghost thing to deal with, and on the other hand, she's got this stalker thing to deal with. And then there's this big twist at the end of the movie, which I'm not going to tell you about, but it's very cool. And the ghost effects are coming out amazing.
Wow.
In that movie.
Well, I can tell you there's a young lady in this movie that I interviewed, and I love her to death. That's Susie Lorraine.
Oh, Susie is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. She plays my poor girlfriend in this movie. And if you go and look at any of the pictures we've posted of Susie and I, she's got a bruise on her face and a bruise on her arm, and it's not pretty. But you know what? Even though you put a bruise on Susie, she's still gorgeous.
I know, and she was fun to talk to, too. I really enjoy interviewing her. She's a great, beautiful, young, talented actress. Now,
yeah, we're going to do some pickup shots with her in a couple of weeks with Susie again, and I'm looking forward to that because it's always great working with her.
Nice. Now, the next film, it's a drama, but I know there's people out there that is going to dig this one. It's called Johnny Blue.
Right.
And go ahead.
That Johnny Blue and Dead Collections are also directed by John Aricchio.
Yes.
But Johnny Blue specifically is it's a straight up family type drama. A little bit of excitement in there. So I mean, it's not like a boring family drama. It's kind of like an exciting family drama. It's about two kids, one black kid, one white kid, who both play guitar and become friends from playing guitar. Through the course of events of the movie, you find out that the black kid's father was murdered. And a little later on, you kind of figure out that somebody in the white kid's family might have been the person who killed his father.
Uh-oh.
And then there's a huge twist at the end of it, and I play their music teacher, Steve Bray. So I actually get to not play a bad guy for a change, which is nice. What I really enjoy about this film is, besides the chance to do something that's a little bit different, is we got some bigger, more well-known actors in it. Definitely Shirley Jones. Most people will absolutely know Shirley Jones, not only as being an Oscar winner, but as being Mrs. Partridge from the Partridge Family. And we also have Kevin Sizemore, who happens to be married to my cousin Gina, who is just recently in the last Transformers movie. And he's also been on a ton of television. He's been on Prison Break. He's been on 24, all in recurring roles. Did Desperate Housewives last year, and he signed on to the project. So
nice.
Looking forward to doing that one.
Excellent. So I'm actually see that too, because I mean drama, but it has a murder mystery in it, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
You know. Now the next one is also. Come on, Internet. See, I got to edit this shit out. All right. The next one that I want to talk to you about, it's called Extinction. You played General Red King. And that's come out in 2012 as well. Right.
That's in early pre-production right now. That is a sci-fi movie. It is about a warrior, Steve Colossus, who it's one of these things where you can actually travel between worlds. There's 3 worlds, and there's a passageway to each world, and it's hard for me to even tell you what it's about because it's just about these fighters who go between these worlds, and they're under the direction of my character, the General Red King, who. Again, there's a big twist in the story, and it's really a special effects laden. It's got dialogue in it, of course, but it's not going to be really heavy on the dialogue. It's going to be more geared towards the effects and the fighting and the time traveling and the world traveling. And it's a very complicated but accessible script. and I don't want to give too much away
Right.
about it, because if I say too much about it, it's going to be like, I just don't want to do that. I want people to be excited about it. And we had Luke Goss attached to the film, which I loved him in that second Hellboy movie. I thought that was really cool. We had him attached to it. We had some other great people, Richard Brake attached to it. Kim's in it. Kim just got cast in it as well, Kim Santiago.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's going to play a warrior as well, and, with her martial arts skills, that ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to doing it. We're going to shoot it in Louisiana.
Nice. Is there anything else that I missed or that you want to mention?
No, I not right now. I think you pretty much hit everything that I'm working on right now.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks for coming on, Roberto. I mean, there's a lot of films that I've seen and some I need to see, but you're on your way to a very damn good career. You have a variety of roles that you've done now, and I think that's most important for some of these actors today, is you have to have a wide range of ability to play certain roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't want to be too typecast.
right, because you went from a music teacher to, and then you played Freddy Krueger, and you played this and that. You played a victim. Well, you know what I mean, and killed or be killed.
Target.
Right.
Yep.
But I wish you all the best, and I want to thank you for coming on and taking time to chat with me. I'm a big fan.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll keep an eye on you, and I'll look for these other films. So I took up enough. Spit it out, Scott. Edit. I took up enough of your time, and I really appreciate you coming on. And you take care of yourself.
You too. Thanks for having me.
No problem. See ya.
All right.
Gruesome Herzog, the voice of horror.